Washington.
Senator Tom Cotton says the world will be watching if Iran, as many are expecting it to do, tries to revive its demolished nuclear program. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-226-5454. That's 800-226-5454. 800-226-5454.
An Arizona home believed to be owned by a three-time MLB All-Star has been burglarized. Here's correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh.
Police are investigating a burglary at a home reportedly owned by Arizona Diamondback star Ketel Marte. The incident occurred Tuesday night while Marte was playing in the MLB All-Star game in Atlanta. Authorities describe it as a, quote, high-dollar residential burglary, end quote, involving stolen personal items and jewelry. No one was home during the break-in. Records from the Maricopa County Assessor's Office confirm Marte owns a property on the block. The investigation remains active. No further details have been released. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Shohei Ohtani has co-written a children's book featuring his dog Decoy. The LA Dodgers star shared the news on Thursday on Instagram, posting a photo of the dog with the book titled Decoy Saves Opening Day. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Some layoffs at the Environmental Protection Agency.
The Environmental Protection Agency says it'll lose 3,700 employees. The agency's Office of Research and Development has long provided scientific guidance for EPA's mission to protect the environment and human health. The EPA said in May that it would shift its scientific expertise and research efforts to program offices that focus on major issues like air and water. Haya Panjwani, Washington.
Man was pulled into an MRI machine in New York after he walked into a room wearing a large chain necklace. Police say the 61-year-old man had entered an MRI room while a scan was underway on Wednesday at NASA Open MRI. Police say the machine's strong magnetic force drew him in by the necklace, resulting in what they called a medical episode that left the man hospitalized in critical condition. He's still recovering from those injuries. More on these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
Join your co-hosts Mike Tooman and Paul Burvitt on our weekly radio hour, Chief Guard of the Republic, where we talk about all things national security, defense, personal security, safety, and dealing with law enforcement situations. Call in 847-931-1410. Ask us questions. We will get you answers. Every week, Saturday, noon to 1 on 1410 AM WRMN Elgin. Streaming on WRMN1410.com. Chat with us on WRMN's YouTube Live channel.
Chicago defense attorney Mark Schieblo has co-authored the book titled DUI Jury Trial, which is a true story of a DUI case that he defended. The accused was an Illinois truck driver arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol. This book contains facts about the case from the date of the arrest up to the jury's verdict, and this nonfiction novel also includes the transcripts from the jury trial itself. The book DUI Jury Trial is now available on Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com.
Fixed Bayonets, comrades. This is the Chief Guard of the Republic radio show with your co-hosts Mike Tooman and Paul Burvid. Every Saturday, noon to 1, of course, in the summer, where we're sponsoring the White Sox are sponsoring us. Either way, you know, they have the afternoon games on Saturday, so we go a little later to fill in some of that air time. And you could listening to us on WRMN 1410 AM, the Fox River Valley Media Network. We're streaming on WRMN 1410.com. Call us in at 847-931-1410. You could text 505-926-1410, or you can hit us up in the comments on the YouTube Live channel, WRM 1410. And if you miss any of our shows, they're all on on the Chief Guard of the Republic YouTube channel. Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. A little tired. But it's because I was working on a car, and I got really, you have like every tool in the world, and then you get to a part, and it's like, oh, it needs this special tool, and I'm like, I'm like, it doesn't need it, but they put it there to keep you from doing stuff. So I had to order the part, and then I was 2 days, fixing this car.
Yeah.
So one of the things, I guess it's, yes, last week one of the guys asked on the chat, the YouTube chat, why we weren't going after that certain person that owned the island in the American Virgin Islands, a small island, American Virgin Islands, which comes under U.S. jurisdiction. I looked that one up, the Little St. James Island. And it also falls under the jurisdiction of the local governing authorities of the American Virgin Islands. Now, they're not a state, they're a protectorate of the United States. They're a territory, an unincorporated territory, but they have their own local laws. Now, Paul, how many times as a prosecutor or, with the Attorney General's office, were you given a case that was so old, it was on the edge of the statute of limitations?
Before I left, I got one like that.
Yeah. I've gotten cases as a detective where there were 3 or 4 detectives' names scratched out, and then I get it, It's like, boom, now you got it, and the case is like 6 months old already, and it's just dying there. And
we used to have a phrase that once your fingerprints are on it, you're done. That means that it's yours, and that you never wanted to get near it. Even first thing they did, I'd come into work, and there'd always be a file on my chair. First thing I looked at to make sure when the last day I could indict it was, because sometimes they play a game on you. You'd only have like 3 days, and then if you blew the statute of limitations, you were gone.
Yeah, I had a case that was beyond the statute of limitations that they gave it to me like before the statute of limitations ended, but I was on furlough. So they give me a case on furlough, right? It's not my case. It had been dumped from other detectives, right? And they dump it on me, the hot potato, but I'm on furlough, and by the time I get back, it's beyond the statute of limitations. So I was just like, okay, case closed, beyond, can't prosecute due to passing the statute of limitations. And then they're jumping on me. Well, why'd that happen? I'm like, listen, you signed it to me, 3 days before her statute of limitations was up, and I was on furlough. So am I supposed to come in and check my cases and then have you take me off furlough and everything? But that's one of the things where you learn that the system is messed up, and they try to do that things, some things, not just to mess with you, but sometimes phone calls are put in and they say, hey, I don't want you to, what do you say? I don't want this going to the best detective because they might solve it and I might go to prison.
You give it to somebody who'll take a long time with it.
Yeah, a long time with it, or who won't do anything with it, because then the hot potato falls on them. Because there's lazy and incompetence, and I've seen it all over, and I think it's all over the world. And I know a lot of these bosses, you would think that they would want the most competent people of all time, the best and the brightest, and that's what you would want on your team. But these guys keep some of these incompetent or lazy around because just for that purpose. When they have something they need to get rid of, they give it to them. They don't bother them about it. They don't give them any crap about it because they know nothing's going to be done on it. Meantime, they're hammering someone that really does work and everything, And then they assign, this is my paranoia coming in, right? And everything I got, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff I got that was kind of trick baggish, especially in the military, where they'd really trick bag you. These bosses would try to they'd sharpshoot and trick bag you. And I'm getting to a point here, right? And I got so paranoid that I had to handle like every single case like it was the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, you know? And otherwise it's like, oh, you dropped the ball here, we're going to, you know, that's the way I thought. And overthinking things, that might be my problem. Now, I'm getting to a point here. So your office gets something, and it's been highly publicized, and you finally get in there and you get access to all the files because you're in charge now. You move into this office, you get access to all these files that your predecessors were even talking about, and you look at them, and it's nothing, or you look at it, and it's a trick bag thing. So what do you do with it? Now you're stuck. Now you're like, you know, you made a lot of noise over this, and then you come in and you realize it's more trouble than everything that it's worth. How do you come back from that? What are your steps now? And what I'm talking about is,
oh, I know exactly where you're going. The problem is, like when you laid a mattress in reverse, you made it to be the be all and end all conspiracy thing, and then you know everybody bought into your belief of that, and then now you're in charge, and then you've looked, and then you realize what you have, and now you can't walk it back. So then you got a problem coming, because that's why we had a thing, and it's because we're lawyers. We really can't talk about anything. We can't say anything. That's why you'll find out they call it a proffer. Whenever the case is first in court, they do a real big thing where they give you total details so that it's now in court, and then you can then say, well, you could relate back to our proffer, because we can't say anything. Otherwise, it could jeopardize the case, or it could get us disciplined or disbarred. So that's why when you see when they make the first arraignment, there's this real big dog and pony show. The lawyer for the state comes up and he says, you know, so and so got up in the morning at 5 a.m. and you know he burglarized this place, and then he went home and beat his dog, and then he went and he kicked his ma, and then he went to school and he stole an apple, and then then he went and then he shot the old lady at 4:15 coming home from school. So they do all that, so they give you all the facts at one time, and then you can just rest on that. You don't say anything. I can't say anything, then I refer you to what was said in court. So this is kind of like that, but in the public, and you can't walk it back. That's why you always want to keep the pertinent facts to yourself.
all right. So yeah, we have that, especially in the military, and that's been violated. And a lot of people should have been prosecuted, and they haven't been prosecuted. And I for one am really waiting for that. It's called a non-disclosure statement. We sign non-disclosure statements, and the violation of which is 10 years in prison and $10,000 fine. You know, it's a federal non-disclosure statement. We have a security clearance. We're read on for the information, and we're told you better keep your mouth shut. And they do prosecute a lot of people, but certain people make themselves the darlings of the press or whatever, and they feel they're protected. But we're going into. Do you know what a glitter fart bomb is? Excuse the word fart. All right, can I say that on the radio?
Yes.
Sure. I guess so. But do you know what a glitter fart bomb is?
Something that really makes a lot of show and noise, but means nothing and smells.
Well, okay, so you know what porch pirates are?
Yes.
All right. So what some of these guys do is, and I'm sorry if I'm giving away the secret, but I don't think a lot of porch pirates are listening to my show. They may be bored on a Saturday. I hope they are, right? More listeners. God bless them. And this is for their own protection, right? They go looking for UPS packages, especially Amazon packages that people leave on their porches. And normally the people are at work and the Amazon package gets dropped off, and then they walk by and grab it. And they keep it like it's theirs. Because they're not really stealing from the U.S. mails. They're stealing from Amazon, leaving it on your front porch. All right, so some guys, they order a lot of stuff from Amazon and got tired of being victimized. So what they did is they built a really nice looking Amazon package, something that looks like it's got something really valuable in it, just the right size, And then they loaded it with glitter, condensed. I think that they used a fan, all right, a high-speed fan, battery-powered fan, and then they added in this like skunk juice, real bad smelling juice, and so these guys would come by and they would grab these packages, and then they'd be like a mile down the street in their car, or they'd go home with them, and boom, the thing would open up and splattered all this glitter all over the place, right? And this skunk juice all over everything. So if it's inside your car, it's going to take a couple detailing jobs just to get that right, So you're in competition with people to get elected, to stay in power at the top level. And your party's been associated with other certain people. But you let that happen because now you're going to use it. What is it that Rahm Emanuel said?
Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
That's right. Don't let a good crisis go to waste. That's a thinker there. So your party's involved in everything, and that a lot of people get named or prosecuted or maybe whatever. So you create this idea of there's an actual list of names. There's an actual detailed list of names, right? If you were an intelligence operative, would you keep a written list of names?
In one place? No.
Anywhere?
No, I don't mean together. No, but I might have their name in a report relating to something else.
Yeah, but you're not the guy. You're not the guy writing the reports. You're just the guy collecting the information. You have a handler above you, all right? And you tell him everything verbally, or at the worst through a dead drop, all right? Maybe you ever hear of a microdot? Maybe you're using microdot. Maybe you're using an internet plant. There's all sorts of ways to do a dead drop of information. But once I give that information to my handler, I don't want anything to do with it. I don't want any of that evidence. All it was verbal, right? Unless they got me on tape, audio tape and everything, and they could prove that's me beyond the shadow of a doubt, right? They're not going to have anything. That's what the guy with I've got the lowest level of training you could probably get, right? And I know that, all right? But if you create this story, this fictional story, that there is such a list, some sort of list of guilty people, but you make a list of guilty people, but you add innocent people onto that list. Just random innocent people. Innocent people, even from your own side. That's even better. So you know for a fact that this person is innocent, but you put them on the list anyways. And you have them in a couple places. You have a couple of these people out there. So now you've made this big story about this list that's available, right? And I got this list, and, the FBI's looking, they went through everything, they got this list, and now you come into the office because they left certain things behind, and took certain things with them, but they leave this behind, and you're like, oh, God, here it is. And then you look at it and you go, wait a second. After all this is completely useless because this one thing here, this one name here, we know for a fact, you have to accept it, it's for a fact, we know for a fact that this person isn't involved, but they're on that list. So now, do you publish the list with a redacted name or redacted 2 or 3 names? Would you publish that list, Paul? With redactions on it?
It's possible, but I would tend not to.
Yeah, because the credibility of everything else gets blown out the window then.
Yeah.
Who are they hiding? Who are they protecting? You know, and you can't give their names. Well, this is the guy we're protecting. You know, you can't do that. So you basically went in and they left a glitter bomb in your office. All right, do you set it off? All right, because if you if you publish the whole list with people you know that are innocent on it, now you become liable because you knew or should have known. You have the whole power,